Wonderful book you've written, Glenn. Just incredibly complete and complex and well designed. And it's really, isn't it a blueprint really for like an architect writes a blueprint, and then the engineers come to build the blueprint into reality. This is a wonderful blueprint in my view. And the difficulties I have, as we all have, I'm sure, is to put it into reality, how to implement these things into physical reality. The other little question I have, second question, is about the constituent assemblies that were active before, during this book was being written. If you could answer these two questions, which are difficult questions, particularly the first one, Glenn.
Is it a blueprint, and you have something about the constituent assemblies? What did you want to know about that?
I wanted to know this blueprint that you have beautifully written. How can we bring it into reality, physical reality, like we need to? Obviously, this is a theory. How do we practice it?
Thank you, Simon. I didn't write the Constitution, as you know, right? It was written by hundreds of world citizens working together in those, and the high points were those 4 constituent assemblies, right? So it was finished by 1991 in the 4th assembly, and I didn't even find out about it or join it until 1995. So it was already finished when what I've done here with this book is put it in the framework of history and commentary and so on. In spite of what Bob said to hold off on promotion, I just want to mention that I've got a new book coming out.
You're the exception, Glenn, to that.
Oh, my new book is going to be launched in May, and it's called Design for a Living Planet, the Earth Constitution Solution. And I agree with you, Simon, 100% that this offers a blueprint. And this blueprint is, I argue that we don't have time. Like, the World Federalist Movement in Europe thinks we got to elect citizens who then will elect a constituent assembly, who will then write a constitution. We don't have time. The earth is falling apart. All right, nuclear weapons might wipe us all out at any time. So we have to act. My argument is that we have to act on this blueprint, and the blueprint, like any good constitution, has an article that is used only once, and that's the article that says, how does this get ratified? And that's Article 17. All right, and we'll look at that. I'm sure you'll all have questions on that, so I won't go into that in detail, but Article 17 shows how the people of Earth can ratify it, right? It has to be democratically ratified by the people and nations of Earth. No one can impose it, right? And in one other article, Article 19, which is very important because the last article allows human beings to start it now, as far in a provisional world government, right? And that's what these provisional world parliaments, they're the main thing that we have begun. We've had 14 sessions, and the 15th session is coming up in December. So, this is governmental. We're saying we're starting it, and we want the people of Earth to say, here we have a blueprint, and we're effectively trying to start it. You need to respond to this. All right. So anyway, I hope that addresses your question, Simon.
Great. Go ahead, Simon. But I just want to remind people we have the preamble and 9 articles to go through. So that's why I was a little leery about doing this each time. But let's try it. But we need to be brief. Let's get in. Yeah, let me get anybody in who has not yet spoken. So Gail, you're up next. You need to unmute yourself. Okay. And then we'll move on.
Yeah, I was wondering, there's mention of a new world order, and I wondered, that it's been talked about very recently by Klaus Schwab, and I wondered if it was referring to that or if it was referring more generally to something else. I also wanted to mention that we have a new member, Maria Inez Ramirez from Asuncion, Paraguay. So welcome.
Welcome. Hello. That's another, like the word men, right, that was pointed out before, that's another unfortunate expression. The phrase New World Order didn't get the bad connotations that it now has until George H. Bush, right, started talking about creating a New World Order dominated by global banking and globalized multinational corporations and so on. So we now speak of a new world system. We use the word system intentionally to try to, whenever we write anything, explain anything, we say that we're in a race against the New World Order, right? We don't want that to happen. So we can look at a totalitarianism of the rich and powerful nations and corporations, or we can look at a world democracy. That's our choice. One is a New World Order, the other is a New World System.
Great, thank you. I'm going to, due to the time, I'm going to move us on to Article 1. So Glenn, anything you would like to say about that? And then we'll go back to our questions and comments.
So this, as you know, spells out the broad functions, right, of the Earth Federation. And these functions cover the range of what a world government, a democratic world government, could and should be doing, in my view. And so prevent the number one, very important. If we want to save the global environment, in my argument, we can't do it unless we stop the war system, the national war system that spends 1.8 trillion US a year on war and armaments and nuclear weapons and the rest of it. Prevent war, secure disarmament, protect universal human rights, right? And those are articulated in detail in Articles 12 and 13. Obtain for all people on Earth conditions required for equitable economic and social development and diminishing social differences. Justice, in other words, distributive justice, so that we end poverty on the Earth. Regulate world trade and all those things necessary for an integrated world system. And then 1.5, protect the environment and the ecological fabric of life from all sources of damage. Control technological innovations whose effects transcend national boundaries for the purpose of keeping the Earth a safe, healthy, and happy home for humanity. And in my new book that's just coming out, I point out the immense number of passages throughout the Constitution that have to do with that, with the global environment and so on. And then the last one, which I think is absolutely fundamental because it addresses the spirit of the Constitution, to devise and implement solutions to all problems beyond the capacity of national governments, right? No government on Earth can create peace. No government on Earth can disarm the world. No government on Earth can protect the environment because the environment is global. It's not territorial. And so, any solutions that, if we have a planetary civilization, the function of the world government is to make sure it's a decent and just and sustainable civilization.